I think the biggest advantage of the Clark University Cybersecurity degree program is the ability to give people all the tools they need to communicate effectively with all the constituents, all the stakeholders that we deal with in terms of getting any kind of a security initiative off the ground, getting funding, building support. One of the key things, and I used to work in accounting when I was younger. I actually used to run the state accounting system way back in the day. And I used to say you need to be trilingual. And one of the things you would really need to know is, for instance, you have to be able to talk to accountants, technical people, business people. It's the same thing. In security, we need to be able to talk to technical people and have credibility. I've seen a lot of technical people who really don't understand what the underlying issues are. They're specialists in one area, but they don't know all areas. And when you talk to technical people, you have to have credibility because they live in their own little world. They'll only allow you to go in the club if you can speak their language. I used to joke about years ago when I would talk about security to a certain person, I would say, let me just speak Visual Basic to you, like it was another language. And I built credibility because they realized I understood what the real issues were, how they programmed, how they worked. If I'm talking to a security architect, if I can't relate to what they're saying, if I can't follow what they're saying, they're just going to write me off. Clark's going to provide that kind of a skill set to you so that you can really talk to that technical person. But it isn't good just to be technical because I've seen plenty of people fail who are super techs. You know, they have to stay in their own little world, security architecture only. But you have to be able to talk up and down all levels. I've had to communicate with the presidents of companies. I regularly communicate with the president of our company. You had to be able to communicate with CISOs, particularly in large organizations who have hundreds of security people. You have to be able to talk to them and relate the security issue to them, both in terms of cost, which is always important to them, but in terms of the exposure you're giving an organization. And then security awareness is critical. It's interesting that Kevin Mitnick in his book starts with a quote by Einstein. And Einstein said that, you know, there's only two things that are infinite, the universe and human stupidity. I think it's interesting he started with that quote, but I think what he was saying is we need to really create security awareness at all levels. And if we can't communicate down to that level, then that's where our risk is going to be. It just takes one person making a slight mistake to create a security exposure. So having that ability to communicate up and down, I think Clark's program is going to provide that because its focus is holistic versus just looking at one specific area.